This year's TREX is, for the first time ever, all local people. Because of the COVID, we were unwilling to invite people in from other areas to come help burn and get training. And so we have the Hoopa, Yurok, Karuk tribes, the Cultural Fire Management Council, the Mid Klamath Watershed Council, and then a couple of independent people that have come to help us burn. This spring is particularly critical for us to get fire on the ground because we are picking the last of our places that have been burned for hazel this spring. So we need to have hazel again next spring for the basket weavers. And so we need to get fire on the ground in the different hazel places. We burned 2 different hazel places. There's some hazel up in this unit, but this one is more of a prairie restoration. It is really gratifying to see all 3 tribes come together and work together to bring fire back to the land. We agreed when we put together the Yurok Hoopa Karuk Healthy Country Plan that the tribes can burn together just like we dance together, that this is good for the people and good for our homelands.
This particular TREX burn is very historical in that we have all of these organizations have come together for this training exchange opportunity. It says a lot about the fire community and how we support each other and the collaboration that takes place within that community, and how significant it is. It's very significant because either a TREX burn on a prescribed fire or suppression fire or any other activity such as training, fire departments, know no political boundaries. They want to come together, they want to work together, they want to participate in these events and support each other. The Training Exchange is a program that's designed to bring folks like us together from other agencies, departments, and provide training opportunities for fire qualifications in prescribed fire and in operational qualifications. So folks that are here not only get the opportunity to help put fire on the ground, but there's opportunity for them to get very important training that they would not otherwise be able to get. These kinds of opportunities are few and far between, so that's what it does. It helps them get qualified at higher levels organizationally for promotional opportunities and career development.
It's such an amazing thing to see a fire engine for Hoopa come down and a fire engine from up Karuk way to come down and join the Yurok engine, and tribal people from all 3 areas come together and work together to do good work, to restore the land. There is hazel up here as well as wild potatoes and wild iris and some different kinds of teas and things like that will, once it's opened up, really thrive and reproduce and be healthy. So we're excited about that too. We're hoping to, in addition to make the acorns healthier as a traditional food, to also reinstate the grains from the prairies and the wild potatoes into people's diets. So we're reclaiming our food security. And then, of course, deer are going to come into all of these places. Traditionally, our people and other tribes as well used fire on a regular basis. Every year, different areas were burned, and there's a cycle of burning. Sometimes you will re-enter a place every 3 to 5 years, sometimes every 8 to 10, depending on, where you're burning, and the prairies more often. And so this land was actually about 50% prairie, and it's only 3% of what it once was. And so there was, prairies would go on for miles and miles with just, some oak trees on it, and it was very open. There was a lot more water in the river and in the creeks. The everything grew in its proper place, and fire helped maintain that balance. So like right now we have fir trees that are growing clear down to practically the river, and that's not really where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be more up in the higher country. They're a conifer. But when the timber industry came in, and that's their cash crop, and so they not only logged everything that was loggable, but then they paid people to replant trees every place, including the prairies. And so our landscape is very different than it used to be. You used to be able to see through the trees and up to the tree line every place, or down to the river, and now there's so much brush you can't see through it. So, but we're starting to change that as I drive up the road each morning, and the different places that we burned, you can see the skyline, and it's such a wonderful feeling to know, right, what we're doing is making a difference. Because of the wildfires, people's attention is really focused on fire right now, and mostly it's fire prevention, wildfire prevention. And so they realize, the government agencies, that the policy of excluding fire from the forest has been a very dire mistake, and the consequences are these huge mega fires that continue to get bigger and bigger and more and more. And so people are starting to realize that we need to do more prescribed burns, because it acts as wildfire prevention when you purposefully reduce the fuels. So when we are doing cultural burns to propagate certain species, culturally important species, it's also doing fuel reduction. And plus, because of the fact that Native people have been burning for thousands and thousands of years, these different government agencies and other organizations are starting to realize that Native people do know more than a little something about what the land needs and how to use fire. And so a lot of the different organizations and legislators are getting a hold of us and asking, about wanting information about how did we traditionally take care of the land.